What is up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about fish play in the small blind versus big blind spot. So we have Queen 9 off, we are in the big blind in our fish friend. RFI is 3x and we defend. Now the flop comes, Ace of Hearts, Ace of Spades, 6 of Hearts. We know from theory that this is a range bet, but our opponent does something unexpected. He checks to us. So should we stab flop against a check from a fish? Well, let's look at some MDA tendencies, and we're also going to look at deviations. We see from MDA, the field as single raise pot at a position pre-flop raiser. If we look at fish check folding frequencies, they slightly overfold or on the high side of GTO. Let's also look at deviations. Let's go to notes. We see overfolded boards are king high, queen high, ace low low, monotone and double Broadway, and underfolded boards are 10 high or less or connected straight boards. So in a way, we should bet flop, but I want to think about formation. Do I think many of his hands will fold to a stab on the flop? And I don't think so. So I actually prefer to check back, especially when the flop is supposed to be a range bet and they don't range bet. From my experience, they will call more than theory. So I decide to check back and we take a turn. Now the turn is a jack of diamonds. Again, my opponent checks to me. Am I incentivized to stab on the turn? Well, let's look at some data. We see from data on the turn, let's get this nice for you guys. The field as a single raise pot at a position pre-flop raiser, check, check, fold lines that they are massively overfolding, almost 10% if we bet 30 or bet 50. So we should be betting something on the turn. So let's say we bet 50 on the turn, which is what I do in game, but my opponent calls. Now the river is a 2 of diamonds. Should I be stabbing the river once he check calls on the turn? Let's look at river folding frequencies for this node. What we see from river folding frequencies in fish MDA is that they do overfold. But we want to figure out the best sizing. So what I did was I put all these sizings, if they had 100 sample size or more, into the calculator. So let's see what the calculator says. The highest EV river sizing for a bluff on the river in a check, check, call, check, fold line is 120% pot. So we need to be over betting the river because it has a bluff EV of 36%. The fish are folding 71% and the alpha is 55%. So that's what we do in game. We overbet and he folds. So let's do a recap of what we learned. On the flop, you want to say, are we incentivized to stab flop? There is a slight overfold and it's based on board texture. I didn't stab in this board texture because it was a little fishy, no pun intended, that he checked in a range bet spot and I felt like he would continue more than theory. But in general, you want to be overstabbing on the king, queen high boards, the ace low low boards, the monotone and the double Broadway, and understabbing on the 10 high or connected to straight. Once he checks flop and then checks again on turn, there is a big overfold. The biggest overfold is if we bet small, like bet 30 or bet 50. They're folding around 38% in GTO, and it's 50% in practice. On the river, we need to be overbetting. We want to use the 120% sizing because the bluff EV is 36% of the pot and they're folding 71% versus a GTO sizing of 55%. If you enjoy this type of content, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe. New video every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or should I say 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.